Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I welcome you to the first edition of Summit FX, organized in partnership with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Government of Karnataka. We would also like to thank our partners. The program is supported by Technicolor, our principal partner Accenture, Dell, Epic Games, our associate partner Autodesk, Aptech, Tech Mahindra, ICE, our co-partners DNEG, Jetline, STPI. Indian Gaming Society is our institutional partner. We'll now begin our next session, Powering the AVGC Industry, which is one of the most important sessions of the day. As we all know, Ministry of Electronics, Information Technology plays a key role in promoting the industry. Today, it's our privilege to welcome Dr. Omkar Rai, Director General, Software Technology Park of India, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Dr. A.K. Garg, Director, Ministry of Electronics, Information and Technology, Mr. Sridhar Mupidi, co-founder Purple Talk, Mr. Venkat Sitaram, Geo Head and General Manager, South Dell Technologies. May I also welcome our moderator, Mr. Subodh Sachan, Director, STPI, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and Managing Director and CEO, STPI Next. May I request Mr. Sachan to kindly moderate the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Nirja, and thank you, team. On behalf of CII, let me welcome the esteemed panelists today, Dr. Omkar Rai, Director General STPI, Dr. Garg, Director, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Dr. A.K. Garg, Ministry of Electronics and IT, co-founder Purple Talk, Mr. Venkat Sitaram, Geo Head, General Manager Technologies. Well, as Nija said, Summit FX, which is the first edition of CII and is a world of the animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics industry. The sunshine industry, as we can call that way, it has already, Summit FX has seen a host of acclaimed names from the global media and entertainment spectrum who have shared their knowledge, imagination, solutions, services, etc. On the various sessions which have already happened so far, almost 30 sessions have already been conducted on this Summit FX, which started on 1st September. Almost 120 plus speakers have already spoken on this forum. The deliberation happened in terms of the various advances which are happening, what really needs to be done in visual gaming industry, and where does India sees an opportunity from towards that. Given that there is a huge technology play, a huge role, in terms of various technologies, with intervention of technology, which are required within this AVG sector. Today, I am joined by my very esteemed panelists, both from government. So let me, I would like to start with Dr. Omkar Rai. Dr. Omkar Rai, who's the Director General of STPI, under Ministry of Electronics and IT, which is a premier organization and has been providing services to the IT, ITS, ESDM industry for 3 decades. In fact, the of STPI has been with the sole responsible, I'll say, and probably one of the biggest factor responsible for the growth of the IT industry. And given that focus, Dr. Rai also brings a strong focus in innovation and dispersal of the IT industry. His latest passion has been various influences and how emerging technologies can play a larger role in shaping of the IT industry, and especially bringing the whole focus in terms of software products and in terms of products to say, from services to software. With that aim, and especially the IT industry is also fueled by startups. Various initiatives under him has already happened inside STPI, which is primarily Center of Excellences, and a lot of new schemes like NGI scheme, or the NPSP, which is National Policies of Software Products, right, and various schemes around that. Now, with those various focus, with both in terms of technology and in terms of startups, we would like to hear Dr. Omkar Rai, what is STPI envision, and what is Ministry of Electronics vision, and how and STPI is shaping up AVGC industry going forward. So over to you, Dr. Rai, to thoughts of yours.
Thank you, Sufod. Thank you very much for setting the entire context and very generous introduction of the work of STPI and my own introduction. Thank you very much. The fellow panelist on this digital dais, Sri Subodh, Sri Venkat Sitaraman, Sridhar Mupuddi, Dr. A.K. Garg, another participant in this very session. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very glad to know that this entire 4 days conference summit actually has attracted the speakers, the experts from the field from all across the world. And therefore, I'm very glad to be here. I'm honored, and it is an opportunity for me to actually share my personal views, the views of STPI, the kind of work that we are doing, and the kind of outlook that India currently has for this particular sector. I would say that if we look at the statistics, this sector is very, very promising, with global animation and visual effect industry sizing approximately $416, including gaming. And knowing that the size of India is nearly close to 1% of the entire turnover market size, we are very glad at the same time that we have to, capitalize on this gap, create a huge market for us, create a huge industry. And therefore, when we have risen up and we have got sensitized to this particular fact, I am very sure that all the stakeholders together will be able to take up this challenge and will take our industry to a very, very sizable manner. I have also seen the kind of growth rate that gaming industry is recording. It is very, very impressive, 29% year on year. And therefore, I am very confident that in times to come, this growth rate, if it consistently grows, we will be able to, capture a very sizable market in terms of gaming, animation, visual effect, and comic industry. We also know at the same time that India is home to about more than 100 companies, this particular sector, animation and visual effect. And the growth of gaming industry in India is growing at 41%, whereas animation and visual effect is growing at the rate of 16%. Both the figures are very, very impressive, and that gives us a lot of hope and a very solid foundation on which we can have several things planned for the future. We also know that during pandemic lockdown, India has actually quickly adopted, resorted to digital platform, media and entertainment. We have been, uh, made to be housed. We were home, and therefore the digital content from the platform that we have seen multifold interest from the Indian consumers, Indian citizens at large. And therefore, a conducive environment, an ecosystem, a kind of adaptability has been seen in very, very significant manner. And that actually has created a lot of hope and given a great background and foundation on which we can, plan so many things in times to come. I'm very glad that this is so focused summit, and at the time when India is aspiring to, capitalize on these technologies, moving to the kind of geography we have, the kind of demography we have, diversity of languages, diversity of Indian character. Our Honorable Prime Minister has also mentioned that, while we create content, digital content in terms of comics and other characters, we must focus on developing these content focused on the Indian characters and Indian heroes and Indian themes. And therefore, while we consume this content from all over the world, at the same time, we will we are inspired and motivated to focus on developing Indian content, which are of standard, I mean, global standards. And therefore, the entire focus from the government, from the industry, other stakeholders is towards this sector, as this sector is so promising, and we are only close to 1% of the total global market size in this particular sector. We also know that there are several companies which are working in this sector. There are Microsoft, Nvidia, UBI Soft, Zynga, Rockstar, and such other companies which are already present, and they are developing the kind of content and softwares around that. And that is how we are having a large number of skilled people who are already engaged in these companies, and they are available to our upcoming ecosystem in form of mentor or even startups. And therefore we have a great base already in place. I would also say that we have one of the panelists, Mr. Sridhar Mupiddi, and he's closely involved with the kind of initiative that STPI has taken in Hyderabad in terms of image incubation center focused around AVGC technologies. And again, I would say that this is not the only center of excellence or incubator we have created. We have already launched 12 centers of excellence, about which we are doing things at different level. Somewhere screening is happening, somewhere onboarding is happening, and somewhere these startups are being nurtured now within our incubators or in the incubator ecosystem that we have created. But I'm very glad to inform that 12 launch centers and 6 plant centers. We have 18 centers of excellence already in pipeline, with 12 already launched. I would say that 6 centers are focused around the AVGC technologies. 3 centers in Hyderabad, one in Hyderabad is AVGC directly. Another center of excellence we have created in Bhubaneswar, which is about augmented reality and virtual reality, about immersive visualization. And third is in Mohali, which is about computer vision, artificial intelligence, and gaming particularly, uh, animation particularly. There are 3 centers in Northeast. One is in Shillong, for which the Viren Ghosh is the chief mentor, head of Technicolor India. The animation focused center of excellence in Shillong, the emerging technologies focused center of excellence in Imphal, and third center of excellence is upcoming in Mizoram, which is directly about gaming. What I'm trying to say is that we are trying to create the incubation infrastructure and such other required support system needed for the entrepreneurs in terms of developing the product and services around all these technologies like animation, augmented reality, virtual reality, visual effect, artificial intelligence, computer vision, and of course allied technologies in AR VR sector like data analytics, robotics, and AI. So what I'm trying to say is that not only we are using creating center of excellence focused around using this technology, mastering this technology for development of products, technology product platforms or services around these, but we are also trying to focus and give much impetus towards uses of this technology, capitalization of this technology in the sectors like education, media, entertainment, hospitality, travel, gaming, healthcare, skill development, and such other sectors. So the point is, on one hand, we are focused about capitalizing on these upcoming emerging technologies, which are very important. Other hand, we are also giving sector focus to these technologies. All across country, we are already planned 25 plus center of excellence, and these center of excellence are also so networked to each other, and in turn they are also connected to the ministries of electronics and IT's startup hub, which is a platform which connects the mentors, the investors, the best practices, standards, world class incubators and best practices. So we are a great part of a upcoming a great horizontal ecosystem where we are so connected to each other, networked to each other, and that is a great platform where any startup that is working in this particular area is open and gets access to the entire ecosystem that India has to offer. We know that with these kind of things, India will be able to capitalize on these opportunities that are upcoming and would create a kind of revolution, I would say, because the growth opportunities are enormous, the market size is very huge, and owing to the expertise that we have, experts we have, owing to the kind of manpower, talent, and a great ecosystem already in place, we can quickly capitalize and accelerate the growth that we have to capitalize on this upcoming market all over the world. And the kind of indication that we have, the kind of the kind of adaptability, digital adaptability that has been demonstrated during COVID-19 times, these sector will not only be, will not only see multiple growth, but would also have a great domestic market, apart from the export market that we have. With these few words, I would end my this particular discussion, and we are open for discussion further and questions too. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Rai. I mean, I think you have presented, the overall opportunity within this segment, very clearly identifying that AVGC sector itself within the media entertainment industry segment is a huge sector, and probably India's share right now is at a level which actually has a strong potential and strong opportunity. We'll come back to you because a couple of points which you have discussed in terms of I know the immersive visualization and the impact of that in the gaming. I would probably get views from Sridhar on that particular topic later. But let me now switch to Dr. Ajay Kumar Garg. Dr. Garg, if you can hear me and switch on your video, so that it's I can. Dr. Garg, if you yes. Great. So let me now, at this juncture, let me invite Dr. Garg. Dr. Garg, is a champion of information technology. He is a seasoned technocrat and a key strategist behind various initiatives within the Ministry of Electronics and IT, and a lot pertaining to what within STPI we are doing. Whether it is his startup entrepreneur, this passion towards startup entrepreneurial ecosystem, whether it is Mighty Startup Hub or whether it is envisioning NPSP, which is National Policy on Software Products, I think there has been a great role which Dr. Garg you have personally played. Beyond that, the role of technology, I think this is something which you have been talking about very regularly in various interactions which we had together. How various center of excellences, whether it's tight centers, whether it is centers within higher institute of learning, whether it is intervention of industry 4.0 and various technologies of industry 4.0, how that will shape up the software product industry as we move forward. Now, with that thought, I think we would like to hear your thoughts in terms of what, as a role, government and what ministry, especially in particular, sees that to further fuel. And especially, let me also commend you on various innovation challenges which has been brought forward. And do we see something on within innovation challenge forums, something with respect to AVG sector as well? So over to you, Dr. Garg, for your opening remarks. You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Subodh. Thank you, Dr. Rai. Thank you, CII, for giving me this opportunity. It's a very important platform and a very apt topic on around how does audiovisual or VR technologies will shape the future. As you all know, and it's needless to say, in a lot of webinars, it has been said that a new normal has been established both by Industry 4.0 and the changing dynamics in which trade and trust will happen due to the new normal because of the pandemic. Technology will play a stellar role. Technology will shape the future economy. Technology will help humans develop trust with each other, and technology will be the mechanism by which we can ensure continuity. These are all things that are said and needs to be implemented. At the same time, what we are seeing is one more factor of trust that has happened with everything happening around us. Things happening at the border, the disruption of the global supply chains because of the lack of trust in one partner in this global supply chain. And the whole talk went from globe to be a single market to an Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is very important to understand. What we missed out in that, one of the very important apps that was banned yesterday or the day before yesterday, which actually played on the minds of Indian humans. There were 2.3 crore young minds in this country which had downloaded and used or misused this app to increase or decrease the productivity. This had very little to do with Indian ethos and Indian culture. But in spite of that, because of the lack of human to human interaction, it was a very important mechanism by which some sort of an entertainment was actually being leveraged out of this. What is important is to that in this aspect is to understand there exists a market. And if that market is connected to Indian culture, Indian context, and Indian ethos, this 2.3 crore will multiply to 23 crore, in turn will strengthen the whole integration of the Indian society, and the whole concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat will be strengthened by a way of education which is Indian and inward looking. So banning this app has very little to do with what is happening at the borders, but it has got much more to do in regard to creating our own capabilities, which are in in line with our 5,000-year-old culture. Now, Subodh talked about that. What is the role of government and what is the role of the private sector in this? What I understand and why I respect STPI in this context is that they never distinguished between government and industry. It was an integrated, gel ecosystem that existed, and because of which, from a few $1 million industry to a 180 billion plus industry has been created in India. Very few people understood a very important role played by one of the very important government agencies that never itself reflected itself to be a government agency. When I took over as the Chief Vigilance Officer of STPI in 2010, Raisa, you must be remembering, I was amazed that many of the decisions that were taken in line with the speed and with the flexibility which the private sector takes. And I had a very tough time during the time to actually build out a government justification to actually justify that, because it was the speed that was important for that industry, and STPI provided it, and the employees were not scared that in government systems they will be actually penalized for this speed. That's the speed. Now, important thing is that this needs to continue. This needs to change. And this has to adapt to the new dynamics. The 5 lakh square feet of incubation space created in STPI, more than 12 center of excellences created, a large mentor pool of industry champions brought together to actually further the cause of startups, and government looking at intervening in other sectors of economy through technology or through ICT technologies is what is important, and what is the change or a new normal that needs to be adopted by STPI, that needs to be adopted by MIT. That is important to understand. It is also important to understand is that now that Indian ICT industry has been one of the most transparent, forward-looking, and adaptive industries which India has seen. This industry, from mere data processing using Java to coming to knowledge outsourcing business in 20 years, has adapted itself in the services sector per se, and is now ready to actually adopt the new normal of software products that is going to come. And when we discussed this with the industry, they said that it's easy and possible that 25% of the future market by 2025 will be from products. In this respect, they asked us few things. They asked us to create a domestic market. They asked us to create an enabling mechanism through 50 plus center of excellences, through connect between the large industry and the startup ecosystem which the Mighty Startup Hub is providing. To create a right policy framework where data can be used fruitfully and in a democratic way. The Data Privacy Act or the platform economy, public platform economy, which India is actually taking a route to further the digitalization, are all efforts in that direction. Those public digital platforms, whether it's an Aadhaar or a UPI or upcoming health stack or the agri-tech stack, are actually platforms which will spur government industry partnership. The video conferencing challenge which Subodh talked about is not only a challenge, but it's a game changer, because in that challenge, government upfront committed itself to be the first market for next 4 years. And the player identified as the winner is from a tier 3 small town in Kerala, a non-heard of IT industry, which is actually has made this and became a winner, where the biggest of the IT players also participated among the 1982 participants. If we see the STPI's Agritech automotive COE in Pune, you name a player that needs to be there, whether it's from the traditional automobile industry or from the ICT sector, all are there actually to contribute to that. The same is with the fintech sector. And it's amazing to see that even in the Northeast, the strongest of industry players have come forward to provide support. The state governments have been ready to provide us the problem sets that needs to be solved at create markets. And this is a game changer that needs to be actually now fruitified, strengthened, and taken to its logical conclusion. As far as the AR/VR industry is concerned, this industry is not only has a huge future market, but it's important to understand if we have to be supported, if we have to see a continuity in education, continuity in provisioning healthcare, and continuity in provisioning skills. All these sectors, the AR/VR will be the key enablers, and this sector will not only remain with the Bollywoods and the Hollywoods, but will come out and will be there with every Indian citizen or every human on this earth. Thank you. Thank you, Subodh.
Thank you, and we will come back to you, Dr. Garg, especially on some of these design challenges. I come back on that topic again. But before we come back, I would now like to proceed to Mr. Sridhar Muppidi. Well, I think gaming as an industry, and as what we heard already, I mean, the global gaming industry is a very huge industry altogether. Indian gaming industry is also close to $1 billion, as what the numbers are currently saying. And we heard, earlier about Dr. Omkar Rai talking about, India needs very focused approach towards creating and harnessing its Indian, stories in Indian creators, etc. Right? Because India has been a storytelling nation. But before I go on that, let me just briefly tell the audience about Mr. Sridhar. Sridhar is a very successful entrepreneur. Sridhar has founded and successfully led 4 companies, including the Purple Talk and Yes Geno, which are currently both focused upon mobile gaming and gaming as a sector and mobile gaming as in particular, and also various technologies, right? What intervention which is happening. Sridhar is well-known figure in mobile gaming industry. He has been actively contributing towards the growth of the gaming and animation industry in Hyderabad, in India, based out of Hyderabad. He's also founder of India Joy, the largest digital media festival in India. In his latest venture, which is Yes Geno, mobile game developments, I think it is just not about developing properties, which I have seen him in his company when I visited him, but it's also about creating various IPs, whether it was games like Star Trek, which became successful, but what are the different IPs which could have been created. I think your focus on technology and your focus on bringing mobile gaming industry at par with global world is something which has been driving you and Purple Talk and Yes Gino. So with that thought process, I would like to, an audience probably would like to be more interested in hearing, where are technologies, and especially the new normal, as Dr. Kaur talked about, right? New normal is there, and there is so much uptake in the gaming industry. Now there is there is so much, there are many opportunities which have created because of, whether it is banning of certain games, or whether it is, the general trend between young minds to focus upon. And gaming also has, at least what I can say, has its implementations and implications in the knowledge industry as well, whether it is training, education, right? So now with those, I would like to hear your thoughts on how this mobile gaming industry in particular and gaming industry in general is moving forward, and what are the technology interventions there. So over to you, Sridhar.
Cool. Thanks, Subodhji. Well, I do have a very strong opinion about apps and all that. So this will become a TV debate if I continue on that discussion with Gert sir being here. But that said, something amazing is happening, right? Especially in gaming, India has over almost 60 crore people who have gaming platforms which they carry around, right? Which is mobile phones. So worldwide, it's over 350 crore people have smartphones, which basically means 350 crore people can play video games. That's like massive, right? And so that's the opportunity. India, I mean, the worldwide gaming revenue right now is about $150 billion. By 2025, it's going to be over $300 billion. And the reality for us, unfortunately, is we don't even account for 1% of that. And now, that's not because we don't have the tradition of storytelling. We don't have amazing mythology and culture we grew up with. It's just that we grew up with the mindset that entertainment is bad for you, right? I mean, we first generation, middle class and all that. We want something which is adds value to the community, adds value to the society, and a lot of people still have this opinion that video games is probably not good for you. That's not true. Video game gives you a lot of skills, which you won't be able to get, because as you are interacting, as you're solving, you learn skills. And people who don't have social skills can still feel at home in video game communities. So there's nothing wrong with it. Not everybody can go out and do public speaking, right? So there's a lot of things which people learn from video gaming. From an India point of view, the opportunity is enormous, right? Not because a few games have been banned. That's that's unfortunate. Actually, we would like to have some competition. But that said, there is an immense opportunity in terms of number of people who are playing and the amount of content requirement, right? Video games, just like movies, have different kinds of genres, like, just like you have romantic movies or horror movies or different things you could do. Gaming also has, like, your role-playing games, your adventure games, your, word games, so you might say gaming is not for me, but it turns out there would be some genre you would fall in love with, right? There's always something you would like. So there's an immense amount of opportunity. Now, the biggest problem which gaming faces right now is the talent shortage. We just don't have enough people choosing gaming as a career. And that's something we would like the world to fix, or we would like to, government to actually do come up with some interventions in terms of gaming policies, in terms of coming up with initiatives where game design is taught in schools or or colleges. Because the thing is, right now, a company like mine, which employs over 550 people, we could probably hire 1,000 more people if only I can find right quality people at the right price, right? So that it's just not us, it's so many other companies. We just don't have enough talent. So talent is the biggest struggle right now in gaming. And I'll give you another example. There are companies we work or small institutes or engineering college we work for, which specialize in gaming, where we hire people right after their second year. So third year and fourth year, they do internship as well as study, and they get paid insanely well. And that's happening because there's a shortage now, and at the same time, you have all these millions of engineers who are coming out of school and they don't have jobs, right? So there is a huge disparity, and we need more people to think of gaming as a career. And gaming can be both, I'm going to build games versus, I want to take it gaming as a sport, become really good at it, because that's another new industry in gaming esports, where, the newer generation, I mean, I won't argue about how good that is, but your generation's role models are not your, Virat Kohli's and others. Their role models could be somebody who's extremely good at PUBG or something else, right? That's who they look up to, because that's what they play. They're not playing cricket outside to know, oh, well, that's an awesome straight drive. They're looking at, oh, wow, the way he shot him, that was so cool, right? So the inspiration comes from what they are playing and who's the best in that world, right? So that's a career people are picking, and there's a lot of money, and that's a good career people can pursue. So we feel we need government interventions. At the moment, there is a talent shortage in our industry. Unless we take some strict actions, or not strict, I mean serious actions, again, trying to build up talent, I think we would always be this 1%, because India ideally should be on par with China and the US, because unlike there are like let me give you a couple of examples. There's countries like Germany. Germany just put aside about 50 billion euros, sorry, no, 50 million euros to give away to developers who want to build games, right? They're 50% of the game development. Canada does something similar, where they give tax rebates on whatever they get paid. India doesn't have any of those interventions yet. I'm not saying happen. There's a lot of seriousness, like Omkar sir said. There are at least 4 Center for Excellences which were started, and STPI Center for Excellence is so evolved in terms of the kind of mentorship they're providing, kind of people they're bringing in to assist. There's a full-time operations team to support them. So we need more of these initiatives by different departments, so that we can build the talent needed to be somebody in this industry, because there's a lot of money we're leaving on the table by not building more games, by not having enough companies build games in India. I think that's a high level what I think. Subodhji, on to you.
Great, Sridhar. I think we will come back to you, and especially upon, I mean, there is a strong potential in terms of having, Indian unicorns, especially coming out of this gaming industry. I mean, we have seen Dream 11, and I think you have been advocating a platform approach, and a lot. So we'll come back to you in terms of where does esports industry and what are the opportunities in esport. But before that, let me now bring in Venkat Sitaram. Thank you, Venkat, joining this group of for the discussion. Venkat is a Geo Head and General Manager, responsible for corporate business in South India for Dell Technologies, based out of Bangalore, and has been with Dell for over a decade now. During his stint, he has handled cross-functional roles across various sectors, BFSI, enterprise solutions, enterprise product management, etc. And he's also been earlier involved with Wipro, and he is, he has again a strong passion in terms of about where does device industry, right, and what role a device industry typically plays within this AV sector. And in fact, AVG sector, if you see standalone, right, again, software technologies, there are intervention, but the computing power and the power of devices actually, right, plays a strong role. So with that, keeping that in mind, I would like Venkat to talk about not just the industry size, industry parameters, but also Dell as a company, from a computing perspective, from infrastructure perspective, what do you see as a role, for companies like that in terms of empowering AVG sector, which is the theme of the session today. Over to you, Venkat.
Thanks, Subodh, for this lovely introduction, and thank you, CII. It's a great platform to be amongst the elite panelists today. wonderful discussion so far. Great learnings. I mean, I couldn't have imagined the opportunity that is coming up in this industry is significant and it's growing manifold. So that's exciting news for all of us. Subodh, coming very straight to the question that you asked me, what's the role that Dell is doing and how devices in this space is coming up. Dell has been one of the leaders in this space. And I mean, you want to look at AVGC separately or look at gaming specifically and then go into animation and VFX and others. We've been a significant contributor with customized technology solutions, innovative designs that we bring in the infrastructure. In other words, it's called device. The Dell Alienware PC that's used for gaming is a market leader today. We ship over a billion units. I mean, that's the kind of scale that we operate significantly in India as well and globally. And that is custom designed for avid gamers. The power that is needed, the speeds and feeds, everything is facilitated by the design and the configuration that goes in. Not just the device and the configuration and the capability, but we also allow management and we give that service support wherever that is required on site and so on and so forth. So it's been one area that we are significantly contributing there with the device. And if you expand this to gaming, if you expand this to animation, all those powerful systems that are required to run these applications, and we bring in a host of them. A powerful precision series of workstations, powerful, call it PowerEdge series of servers. We add a lot of those cards which assist and propel interactive gaming and collaborative, call it entertainment and so on and so forth. So that's been a play, and we've been investing significantly in this space, and we know that this space has a lot of potential. Our aim is to bring the best to the industry and make it far more affordable and easily accessible. So we've been actively doing that, and we would like to continue to do that. After listening to the potential that exists, I think we should. I will go back and tell the company inside in India that we should look at AVGC as a focused vertical. So that seems very interesting and some great comments. So broadly we play across the board: compute, call it storage, bring in a security layer. We put everything in place that is required for this kind of an industry to function seamlessly using technology infrastructure. And we're market leaders there. Very happy to say that we are one of the market leaders there.
Thanks, Venkat, especially on bringing the elements of storage and security, right? While animation industry, and I'm sure when we talk about the visual effects and when we are hearing various sessions in the CII in this particular Summit FX, right? Animation, especially the way the virtual production has moved on right now, because the way the production is not happening really online, right? I mean, real time, right? It's all virtual, and I think that is only possible, as you rightly said, because of the power of the technology and power of the infrastructure, and on top of that, build in various layers, whether it's a layer of storage, whether it's a layer of security. So I would like to hear more on that with you, but let me go back now to Dr. Rai. In fact, sir, you have spoken about the center of excellences. You have spoken about the model of collaboration, right? Well, it is very clearly understood, and it's probably the need of the hour, that the innovation, right, is happening right through startups, right? And where do you see startups playing that role of innovation creators? And especially when Honorable PM has talked about that young minds, the critical thinking has to be brought in, right? And with that critical thinking, only innovation can happen, right? Now, where a TPI Center of Excellences will create the playground for startups, that's A, and how various Center of Excellence are going to be interlinked, so that we are creating cross-functional mechanism for the startups.
Thank you, Subodh, for a very good question. In fact, In fact, the kind of mechanism that we have adopted for creation of the Center of Excellence are collaborative. We did it with a view to make sure that we could leverage from the talent pool that Indian IT industry has, the leaders of IT industry, veterans of IT industry, and capitalize on their experience, their enthusiasm, and their motivation to give back to the society. And we have tried to capitalize on these things, and we have adopted to this collaborative model wherein we are drawing these industry leaders, talent from industry, not only as a mentor, but also as a chief mentor responsible for administering the entire Center of Excellence initiative. And we are also collaborating with the state government, industry at large through industry associations, academia, professors, teachers, students. So the point is that the kind of Center of Excellence we are creating is actually a platform where everything is being delivered, administered, and carried out in collaborative manner, in a very, very interactive manner, and real-time decisions are being taken, and the model of administration and implementation is being improvised in very real-time fashion. So the idea is that we should be able to afford much needed flexible business-like professional environment to the startups so that they could come up with their ideas and convert their ideas into product with the kind of support that we have to offer. Apart from this, the question, I mean, the point that you mentioned is that how the startups could be inculcated with the culture of innovation and all. I would say the entire ecosystem. I mean, the point is that during this pandemic 19, COVID-19 pandemic lockout times, when the entire country was brought to, was actually locked, the people actually started thinking very loudly and very carefully that we have to promote the startup ecosystem in this country, and the kind of acceptability and readiness to promote this culture was never to that extent before. So the point is that the technologies that have come up now and the power of computation that has grown over a period of time, the advent of cloud technologies and all sorts of tools and platforms are readily available to the startups from all across the suppliers and technology developers, and therefore a large number of opportunities have come up across the startups and young minds to to bring animation technologies to make things more learnable, and AR and VR technologies to give a kind of immersive experience in the entire process, if it is learning, training, or skill development, or imparting education, or giving a real-time feel of tourism, all sorts of things. So the point is that these technologies are actually have to be used to give a very valued experience to your customers and develop world-class technology and attract more customers and consumers. So the point is that the industry, academia, the government's large pool of industry talent that is available in IT industry has come across, and therefore, owing to the fact that a lot of transformatory times has been witnessed and seen by the people of India, this is the right time when all the stakeholders are working together, have to work together, which is actually happening, and create a kind of environment where a large number of young boys and girls and the people at large could try to ideate and use these technologies and use the infrastructure, use the ecosystem that and convert capitalize those opportunities and the infrastructure and convert their ideas into product. So this is something which is now happening, and India has never been into this kind of exciting state where we can march ahead in terms of creating cutting edge technologies and mastering all these technologies which are now totally democratic.
Sure, I'm sure. I think the exciting times which we are already in with respect to startup ecosystem, with respect to the technology play, and as you rightly said, the Indian talent, the talent which has been powered by the Indian IT industry, the service industry. I think Dr. Gar also talked about the same. Dr. Gar, let me get you on this question about because there has been special emphasis on innovation, and also there has been need about the startups at various stages there are available in India. And while we are working a lot in incubation ecosystem, I know for sure as Mighty is working on various schemes for accelerating the startup which are already there. There are certain startups which are at certain scale, and how do we accelerate them so that they create global products, right? That's one. Second, there has been a talk about skill enhancement within the ABC sector, right? So your thoughts on both, what are various initiatives happening around acceleration of startups for them to meet the global demand in the global markets, or product design itself, or second is in terms of the skilling part, right? Because skilling also plays a huge role, as has been discussed, in this panel. So your thoughts?
Thank you, Subodh. You touched upon a very important point that is very close to my heart. What we have done in the last few years is we have created a third largest startup ecosystem in this country with around 40,000 odd startups contributing, solving problems that are on. The problems that are solved are which are related to problems which are related to our country, our future growth. Those problems are being solved in a very frugal manner at very low cost and involving very little investment. That has been the strength of our Indian startup ecosystem, which is very different from the Silicon Valley. The challenging times that exist to the startup ecosystem are related to actually how do you convert these companies which are just a million or less than a million to unicorns or the billions. Of the 40,000 odd startups that we have, around 35 around have only grown to be unicorns. And most of them have been around a million or less than $1 million in us. So if these startups have to contribute significantly to Indian economy, then these startups have to actually scale up to sizes which actually make an impact, and that is very important. What we understood as Mighty is that this startup ecosystem now needs to be accelerated. They have solved many problems. They have the capacity to solve problems on ground. The challenges that we were there, that we threw, whether were related to the Atmanirbhar apps or were related to video conferencing solutions, or various challenges that have been floated by STPI, NASSCOM, and other such, have shown one thing, that you have many startups which are ready to solve problems on ground, and they have the technology skills to solve them. Now, when it comes to acceleration, what we understood was there are three aspects to acceleration that are important. First, foremost is the market access. The mindset of Indian government not to actually look at innovative solutions for procurement had to be changed. So the various changes made to the GFR with respect to buying from the startups, the methods which I talked about, the challenge route which actually changed the procurement policies, establishing a living lab to give a first-in experience both to the smart city mission to look at Indian innovations in the smart city investment, or we working with the Jal Shakti mission to come up with an IoT platform that actually monitors good drinking water for all by 2024, which the Honorable Prime Minister has actually put every one of us on job, are all efforts in the direction where the market access is created for innovative solutions. As far as investment is concerned, there are two very lacking there. We have a large incubator ecosystem. More than 500 incubators are there which are ready to help the startups. These incubator ecosystems are mainly based out of institutes of education or higher learnings, where they mature their technologies. But when it comes to a venture capitalist or an angel fund, he not only looks at technology maturity, but he looks at that how are you scaling up your business? What is your strategy towards business growth? That mentorship was a missing link in our ecosystem. So STPI stepping in to support incubation, where the STPI has a more close connect with industry rather than with research institutes, has been one effort. We supporting accelerators and thinking about creating a large number of accelerators that become a bridge between a venture capitalist and the incubation ecosystem is an effort in that direction. And this has been our, but the main challenging part in Indian ecosystem or startup ecosystem is the rupee capital. The rupee capital, the most of the venture funds actually have a large amount of investment that comes from outside. And many of these actually directly intervene in the investment system. So some of the very mature startups or promising startups actually shift their base out of India. And
Right.
that is worrying. It is similar to a brain drain from the IITs that happened in the 70s through the H-1B visa policy of US, which has started happening in our startup ecosystem. So the rupee capital infusion, keeping our promising startups in India, is the next challenge. That is the software product development fund, where we are trying to create a 25,000 crore rupee capital venture fund, is an effort in that direction. And the important thing is that the government has understood the importance of rupee capital, and that message has actually also flowed into the industry ecosystem, where the large industries of industry houses or individuals have started pouring in money into an alternate investment domain, which is a venture capital or an angel fund.
No, thank you.
The last thing about skilling, which actually Sridhar also talked about, that's a missing link. We have people serving the services industry. We have a missing link of creating skills for products and technologies. That's a missing. The National Policy on Software Products has a full, complete chapter on skilling for products. The NASSCOM and MITI coming up together with the Future Skill or the Prime program for actually skilling up the Indian IT workforce are all directions in those efforts. Dr. Rai talked about the very important role played by STPI COEs in skilling our IT workforce. These are all efforts, but a lot more efforts are required for skilling. One very important point which all of my industry friends should look up is that in skilling or in the growth of IT industry, the CMM levels by the Software Engineering Institute played a very important role in maturing our services sector. Can we have a similar system for certification of a skilled manforce for products or the talented product industry that we have to look up as a methodology for the future? Thank you.
Sure. And I think on that note, in the inaugural session of the Summit FX, I was hearing Secretary Information and Broadcasting, right, Amit Khare, and he talked about especially in particular to AVG sector itself, a center of excellence in AVGC coming in IIT Bombay. The focus of that is primarily to do a skill development and also certification, as Dr. Garg talked about, especially for this sector. And I'm sure I think Dr. Garg, and to focus about skilling across technologies, right? So that's something which has been a wider role in which a ministry in terms of technology of related to IT and electronics is what has been playing a role. Sridhar, I think let me come back. I think we have a couple of minutes still left. And Sridhar, you spoke about gaming industry and esports industry, where now is taking shape a lot, right? I think esports was growing, but given this pandemic situation has probably accelerated the esports altogether, and especially the esports now is being tied together with healthcare. So now gaming is no more entertainment. Gaming is also about keeping yourself fit, right? And I think that's where some of these technologies probably are playing roles. So what's your thought on that, Sridhar?
Well, I mean, gaming is about at least keeping yourself mentally fit, maybe not physically. We're all getting like, I put on control for the last, last 4 years, 4 months. But
Right.
yeah, mentally, I mean, you stay alert, so that definitely helps. So esports on its own is a completely different space. As a career, kids can take that up, but it's like any other sport. You need to be like the best of the best in the world to actually be successful there. Just like a cricketer or somebody in badminton. So somebody could be doing that for Fortnite or some other game, right? So that's definitely a career option people can take up. From a healthcare point of view, right? Gaming has something called what we call applied gaming or what serious gaming. What that does is you should look at like in schools, right? Kids get A grade, B grade, C grade, right? What does it mean? And the kids immediately know A is better than B, B is better than C, right? That's grading. That's a gaming mechanic. That's a term we use in our gaming. The badges, stars, the kids get when in kindergarten is a gaming mechanic. So there are like about 40 odd gaming mechanics which people use to motivate you, right? Without actually giving you money, you can be motivated, right? So imagine somebody going through a serious trauma of some harassment they went through.
Right.
Gaming can be used to, help you get over some of the things which you cannot in person do that. And these can be done at scale. Same with, depression. Somebody could be going through depression, and we're all cooped up in the houses nowadays. Can gaming help you there? And there are a lot of solutions which are evolving there. Can you incentivize people, through these different mechanics to make them do things which they otherwise won't do, and that way mentally, physically get better, right? So gaming is around us. We just don't realize it. We call that gamification. And traditional gaming which you play on phones also gives you that quick gratification, right? So I think the space is here to stay. We just didn't grow up with games as much as the Chinese or Americans, but that's changing, so it's very exciting space. We have amazing amount of talent, just that we need to nudge them a little bit towards it. And as Ikigar sir said, we need funding. We need, this is a high risk space, just like movies, just like anything. You succeed, you might make $1 billion. You fail, then you have to redo it again, right? So if we have government support, sir, we're gonna go places. So ball is in your court right now.
Sure, and I think as Dr. Garg talked about in terms of SPDF, being created, which is Software Product Development Fund, and I think you together with a bunch of angel investors is already putting up a fund to support gaming industry, and that's something which is a great initiative for a center of excellence called Image by STPI. Where you are not just contributing as a mentor, but also have brought together various angels to create this fund to support the gaming industry. So I think thanks for that. Let me now go back to Venkat. And Venkat, I think there has been some discussion on immersive, experiences, right? Now, what do you, see immersive experiences, and how an immersive experience is going to create an impact in educational sector? I think if you can specifically on education or on healthcare, I mean, what are your thoughts around that?
Great question. I think immersive experience is changing the way today any business is experiencing let me say, the experience that they are delivering to the customers, and so on and so forth. So since you picked up education, healthcare very specifically, I think to start with education, and just before this forum, I was there with elites talking to some of the academicians. And very interestingly, they said, for educational continuity, they're looking at AR and VR as a big pillars. Immersive learning and collaboration is becoming the way forward. More so, this is being leveraged by teachers. And at Dell, we are playing a very, very important role in enabling teachers how to leverage these tools, how to leverage these technologies, besides providing them access to the technology in itself. Through immersive learning, the ability to connect with students and the ability to conduct sessions is becoming much more, call it intuitive. It's becoming much more collaborative. It is also becoming personalized. The old age schooling was Gurukul based, which was personalized, right? With all of these new age technologies like immersive learning, we are, in a way, we are coming and touching that old age schooling techniques as well. And they say it is a cycle in every journey, and here is a proof for that. So this is something that is really being used for personalized learning or personalized teaching experience today in the education space. Coming to the healthcare that you talked about, the second one, that's another area that we are seeing immersive experiences being used very specifically for rendering patient care. So that's another significant area today. We see in India quite a bit hospitals leveraging this. We work very closely with them and enabling this through virtual mediums, through clouds, so that the data that is available can be shared, and in the process, the necessary treatment could be life-saving, necessary consultation can come in. So Dell is playing a significant role in putting this envelope together. And as I talked about, when content gets created with the device, you need to look at rendering that, you need to look at distributing that, you need to look at storing that, and then add the security envelope. And with all of these new age technologies coming in, there should be one technology provider who will put everything together, and that's what we do today. And to top it up, we do provide services around all of this. We provide education services around all of this. That becomes a differentiation today. So that's the role we are playing. And I would like to make a submission to Dr. Omkar and Dr. Garg, and of course, Sridhar is doing some wonderful things, that Dell can be a great partner in enabling this journey, in fostering this transformation in the COEs that you have talked about. It's really exciting to hear about it. I'll be very keen to explore how we can partner with you and work together. Back to you, Subodh.
Thanks. I think, Venkat. I think, Neerja, if you're able to hear me, do we take up any questions from audience or
Dr. Sujan, we do not have any questions. We were looking at it, but Tullah, we haven't got any questions from the audience.
Great. So I think we have already 5 minutes over from our scheduled time. I think we had a very deliberating session, ranging from the intervention of technology in the form of what we are doing with the startup ecosystem, as we heard from Dr. Rai, and also as we heard from Dr. Garg, and what MeitY is playing a role in terms of accelerating startups, or creating a conducive environment for the industry. Well, AVGC segment as such, if we go back and see, it's a purely private led. I think that's what we all understand. And government role is primarily to be a facilitator in terms of what is happening with the industry, and also to fill up the gaps. And I think one of the gap which Dr. Rai talked about was in terms of startup ecosystem and the technology play within that. Dr. Garg talked about accelerating that and skill development. Sridhar talked about very clearly on the gaming and opportunities in the gaming, and I think Venkat talked about as a devices company, Dell, and the services around that. What does the Dell is trying to do with that? Any last thoughts from each of my esteemed panelists? If yes, I think go ahead and speak, and before I close the session today. Any last thoughts from esteemed panelists?
I just had to say, it's an amazing space to be in, video gaming or game development. So any kids out there listening in, please consider being part of it. And entrepreneurs thinking of what to do next, video game development could be a good career for you, opportunity for you. So do think about that. Do consider it. As an example, biggest companies in China right now are gaming companies. Biggest companies in Finland and other European nations are gaming companies. So we would like you guys to think about that. Well, thanks again, Subodhji, for the opportunity.
Thanks. Any other last comments from any other esteemed panelists before we wrap the session? No.
See, I would say that it was a great session, and particularly the industry leaders like Venkat Sitaram and Of course, obviously, Sridhar Mukherjee is an ecosystem leader, in fact, and the kind of discussion about this software product development fund are the kind of fund that they are trying to develop together. I'm very glad. It's great to be part of this kind of panel where things are actually being discussed, research to be done.
Sure. I think thanks a lot. To my very esteemed panelists. Thanks, Dr. Rai. Thanks, Dr. Garg. Thanks, Sridhar. And thanks, Venkat, for giving time out to this Summit FX. And thanks a lot to the CII team, both Biren Ghosh ji, who is Vice Chair of CII National Committee, and also K. Madhavan, Chairman for CII National Committee on Media and Entertainment. I think the CII Summit FX has been a wonderful summit and the first edition towards that. So thanks for bringing this Summit FX, and I think as STPI, from organization perspective, I think we had a great participation, in this session. So thank you, Team CII, and thank you to my panelists, and we look forward to interacting with you once again on other platforms. Thank you. Neeraja, over to you.
Thank you, our panelists. Thank you. This was indeed a very inspiring discussion, and we understand the role MeitY is playing to facilitate the growth in the AVGC sector, and we continue to work with you.